Welcome to Andy's Garage. I'm Andy Phillips. Today I'm going to show you how to replace the wheel cylinder on a Dodge Neon. Let's go ahead and get started. This is the wheel cylinder here. Normally you have your brake shoes and the brakes all around it, and they clip in right here, and then there's one here on this side. And basically what happens is when you push your brake pedal down, the brake fluid fills up these bushings here and then expands it, causing the brakes to press against the drum of the brake. This particular vehicle, I'm already doing the brake work, so that's all been taken off. Normally you would have all the brakes in here. So what we're going to do, I'm going to show you what's needed to complete this video, and then we'll be right back, and then we'll kind of do a flashback of what had to be done to remove everything to get to this point. You're obviously going to need a replacement wheel cylinder. You can pick these up at automotive stores online. They're easy to come by. You are going to need a ratchet with an 8mm socket, and that's to remove the wheel cylinder. Now you're also going to need an 8mm wrench, and that's to bleed the brake lines and to remove it and put it back in. And that's all you really need in order to replace the wheel cylinder. Now you will have to remove the brake shoes from it, and if you want to do the brake job as well, that's what I'm going to show you now, is how we got to this point. There we go. Whew. I'm going to pull this out. We need to take the axle nut off, and then we'll be able to slide this out, and then we can get to everything in here and replace it. We're going to start by removing the automatic adjuster lever spring right here. We'll take our needle nose pliers, just pull up on that slightly, pull that off. Next thing, I'm going to remove the lever itself, and this can just, now that the spring's out, you can just pull it back and it'll slide right out like that. Next, we'll take our needle nose pliers, we'll take these hold down clips, push in on that and turn it, and then that should come out of the back. Pull that off, push that in, that's out. So you can pull those apart and it'll just come out like it did here. Pull this one out, and then this is your emergency brake right here where it connects in. So we need to remove, there's a little clip, and I'll show you where that is, that we need to take off here on the back. So this comes off, and then now we can just take this, pop the shoe off of it, and you can see where it goes in here. I'll do this, there you go. And now we can clean all this out. Everything has been cleaned off around this cylinder. We had all that junk caked up on there. So let's head around to the back, and I'll show you the two 8mm bolts that have to be removed so we can remove it. And then we'll also disconnect the brake line, which we'll use the 8mm wrench for that. And then we'll be able to pop it out and put the new one in. If we come around here to the back, see if I can get a good enough shot here for you. All right, so let me identify what we're looking at. You have the two 8mm bolts that hold the caliper on, and then under here on the bottom is your brake line coming in. That's a 10mm wrench that you'll need for that. I mentioned 8 earlier in the video. I was wrong. 8 is for those two, 10 is for that. I misspoke on that. So I'm going to go ahead now. We're going to take all those off so we can get rid of the cylinder and put the new one on. You can remove them by hand. But I don't want to remove them completely yet until we get this brake line disconnected. So now we'll take our 10mm, come around here. If you remove this bleeder, you have better access to get around this. So now we'll take our 10mm and we can, there we go. We can pull that off. Right, now let's try it. Pull that out. And here we go. And that's our old wheel cylinder removed. I'm going to clean all this out first, and then we'll put the new one back on. I cleaned all that out. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to bring our new wheel cylinder in. You have a plug in here where the brake line goes in. I like leaving that on until we get everything installed and then pull it out. That way dirt and debris doesn't get in there. This right here is your bleeder. You have your two openings here where the 8 millimeters bolt into. Those line up with these two holes. So we're going to take this, slide it through like this. We'll head around onto the other side. We'll bolt it in place, and then we'll connect the lines to it. Slide this in. We'll take our first 10 millimeter and we'll just hand tighten it in. Get it in place. Take our second. Put that in. Next, I'm going to tighten these with the ratchet. This is all tightened up. So next we're going to go ahead and remove this little red plug. We'll just grab some needle nose pliers, pull that out, and we can take the brake line, put it into that spot, and then we're going to tighten that up. I'm going to remove this bleeder here so I have better access to get the wrench in to tighten the brake line, and then we'll put this back in. Take our 10 millimeter, tighten this up. Now with that on, we can put the bleeder back in. Okay. Well, that wraps up this video on how to replace the wheel cylinder on a Dodge Neon. At this point, you would be putting your brake shoes, all the hardware, putting all this back together. I'm not going to go into that in this video. If you want to see how to do it, you can check out my video via the link below. Also have it across the top on how to replace the drum brakes on a Dodge Neon. But as far as for replacing the wheel cylinder, that wraps up this video. Please send me any questions and comments. I would love to hear from you. I hope this video was informative for you and helped you out with anything you're working on. As always, I appreciate all the support. Please like the video, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you next time.